exploring the natural world one podcast episode at a time. This is For What It's Earth. Hi all, and welcome to another episode of For What It's Earth by me, Marissa of the Art of Ecology. And for this mini-series, we are now in the second of that session. I am continuously joined by Zack Jacobs.
Howdy.
Howdy. And we are going to be doing a little mini series of nature adventure books. So there's things that at least people our age probably had as kids.
I had one. Yeah. I think it was talked about in the last episode.
Yeah, the Goosebumps one.
Yeah, scarred me for life.
Yeah, I had one that was it was the weirdest Red Riding Hood, where you could choose which path Red Riding Hood would take, but then she could do magic, and the wolf was absolutely insanely crazy powerful, but then you could use the magic that you found along the way, and there were these colored vials given to you by the gods, and you could do different things with them and create bridges and stuff.
Wow.
And it was really intense.
That sounds cool. That sounds way more stimulating than Little Red Riding Hood, as I remember.
Yes. It absolutely was. The artwork was just a little disturbing because it was whoa,
more kind of grim fairy tale-y.
Yes,
stuff.
Very grim fairy tale meets math.
Oh,
because
gross.
it's for kids, so you had to do the geometry with the vials. That's what I remember from it.
We have this is how Marissa and I's conversations go. She said the word geometry.
Yeah.
Which reminded me of at work, one of my coworkers has a master's degree in environmental geography, and we make fun of him a lot for saying that he has a master's in geometry.
Oh, poor boy. Yeah. Very different.
Or geology.
Or geology. One of those geology.
Any multisyllabic, any large G word, really. Multisyllabic.
Yep.
Well. You did it. I got there. Took 3 tries. That's okay.
3 times the charm. Cool. And for those watching this episode, we are also joined here by the puppy dog. We've got the good Sir Hephaestus, who is taking a nap with us. So if you are watching on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. And you are enabling me to continue putting out environmental education content. And you also get to see a puppy dog. So there's that.
Apologies. Oh, excuse me. If I knew this was going to happen, I would not have worn black to match the dog. I apologize to the viewers.
It's okay.
He is asleep.
Face planted in your lap.
It's been that kind of morning.
It has. All right. So today on this nature adventure time, I've got 2 choices here, and I'm going to let Zack pick. We have Prisoner of the Ant People, which has an ant that I'm pretty sure is not actually drawn anatomically correct. I'm pretty sure that's not what ants look like up close. So that one looks super super scary.
I saw Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, that's true.
So similar, but not the same.
Yeah, it's got the bulbous eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we have Trouble on Planet Earth, which when I was reading, the description has to do with oil and the Earth's fossil fuels. However, I did not realize until recently that there was actually a UFO in the picture. So I'm not sure how scientifically accurate either of these will be, but we'll talk about that after we do our adventure.
I've already decided that we're doing Trouble on Planet Earth.
All right, screw the ants. Okay, so Trouble on Planet Earth. All right. Okay, the wrong decision can end in disaster, even death, but don't despair.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. All is well.
It's a little bit of disaster, a little bit of death. It's not the end, except when it is.
Yeah. Fogging.
Why worry?
Why worry? I'll tell you why. Because the Earth's oil fields are drying up and the world is thrown into chaos. As you watch the news reports, your brother Ned has, okay, yeah, definitely not scientifically accurate. Ned has one of his premonitions. The Earth's oil is being stolen, but who would steal it and how? Should you put your investigating skills to work in Saudi Arabia? Another one of Ned's premonitions, or do you travel first to the CIA headquarters to see what they have to say? Let's just hope Earth's fuel lasts long enough for you to find out.
We're going to Saudi Arabia on account of the fact that it's like mid to late November and very cold right now, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
So we're going to Saudi Arabia.
Okay. All right. Well, that choice is not actually being made yet. Hold on.
All Sorry, right. I got ahead of myself.
You did.
I thought this was a books of choices.
I don't know why they asked you
forward?
choices. Yes. And okay, fine. It's fine. All right.
Spoilers,
so
I know I have a brother named Ned. Who's psychic.
Yeah, right. So apologies in advance. We'll talk about how scientifically accurate this book was after our adventure and some of the similarities to the natural world, as well as our thoughts as just environmentalists on the book overall. So we'll talk about nature at some point. All right, here we go. Oh, this is a news report. Okay. Good evening. Tonight we bring you a special report from our news team on the mounting crisis. Interviews with leaders from around the world from Paris, Cairo, Beijing, Moscow, and Washington confirm that no answer has been found to the sudden loss of oil in every oil field in the world. You turn from the evening news and jab your brother in the ribs.
Hey, Ned, this is it. It's finally happening. There's no more oil. The Earth is giving up. I thought it was like positive excited at the beginning of the sentence because I did not read ahead. That's okay. And then realized halfway through it was terrible.
Yeah. Wow. I don't know. Maybe you're psyched about it because fossil fuels, right? We don't need those. Let's switch to renewables.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe you are positive excited. The Earth is giving up on fossil fuels.
The Earth is giving up.
On fossil fuels.
On fossil fuels.
And switching to renewables.
And switching to renewables.
There you go.
Renewables. We're gonna get through this.
This is a paragraph. All right. Maybe the oil's being stolen, or maybe there's an international plot to drive up prices. You know Ned is famous for his crazy ideas, and you have gained an international reputation for solving problems that no one else can tackle. I don't think you're a 12-year-old at this point, unless this is an anime.
I don't think it's an anime.
I think you're like an adult.
12. Yeah.
Okay. You're especially good at analyzing data and developing solution, but Ned goes on instinct and ESP. It says ESP.
Okay. I'm happy for you, Ned.
Yeah. Together, you're an excellent team. The trouble is with Ned, and you have to keep reminding him that this is a team. He's always out for his own glory.
It's funny you say that because I was just thinking Ned has superpowers.
Yeah.
Why am I here?
I don't know.
Okay.
He's in it to win it. And
you know what?
You aren't, apparently.
You know how we're going to find out?
By turning to page 2.
Turn to page 2.
Yep. Stolen? Come on, Ned. Oh, that's you. Sorry.
It's okay. Stolen? Come on, Ned. Who could steal it? It's just been used up. There isn't enough oil anyway. At least not the way we're using it.
Ned stares at you, and the look that comes over his face is one that you know all too well. The look he gets when special knowledge hits him. Knowledge from a secret primal source. Even Ned can't explain it, it just happens. I feel the knowledge, he announces. It's up to us. We'll crack this case. I feel the knowledge.
I feel the knowledge. That's his catchphrase. I feel the knowledge.
Okay.
Now I suppose you want us to find out who's taking the oil and bringing it back, right? Am I right?
He nods, adjusts his glasses, and reaches for the World Atlas on the desk. Should I adjust my glasses like anime style, like just one? Or like, should I do that and have it like glint?
The picture that I'm painting in my head is that Ned is actually the protagonist and we are like the sarcastic sidekick. So I respect the move of the author that we're not actually the hero of the story.
All right, so we're player 2 vibes over
Yeah,
here.
we're player 2.
Okay. All right. On your last investigation, you and Ned solved the strange phenomena of the melting statues in the National Museum. Before that came the case of the missing airliner, and before that, your most grisly case, trunk murders in Arizona. Dang. Ned looks up from the atlas, and his index finger rests on the map of the Middle East. I say we begin the search right here in Saudi Arabia. That's where the oil loss was first discovered, according to the news.
No, Ned. We start by going to Washington, D.C. and offering our help to the government, the CIA.
That's the epitome of the government.
This is the CIA.
Yeah.
We don't need the others.
Yeah. Let's flip a coin, Ned answers. Okay. What do you decide? Do you choose heads or do you choose tails?
We're gonna go with the protagonists. We're going. Oh wait, no, I can't decide that. Heads, tails. Heads.
If you choose heads, turn to page 3. Okay. The coin comes up heads. You win. You and Ned head for Washington. You don't expect much trouble getting to the CIA.
I was rooting for Ned.
Well, good luck. Your help finding the missing Boeing 747 established your reputation there. You and Ned discovered an abandoned airfield in the Andes where a plane was taken after it was hijacked by a terrorist group. Ned got the secret information by intuition, ESP, whatever, the knowledge that he feels. But as usual, it came in a strange language, and you are the only one who can understand it.
So, I understand why I'm here now.
Yeah. All right, turn to page 9. Is it not?
Well, there's art?
There is art, but now we've gotten to it. Yes. Once you arrive at the Central Intelligence Agency, just outside Washington, D.C., you are cordially ushered into the director's private office. Martha Thornberry sits behind a large steel desk and smiles at you both. I'm assuming this is her smiling at you.
Yeah, that's Martha.
This is Martha.
I'm gonna guess that's Martha.
Yeah, she's fine.
Her smile's not super convincing. I don't think she's actually happy to see Ned.
No.
Maybe it's because I'm there. I think she likes Ned, but not me.
Well, actually, welcome. I'd hoped you'd come. We certainly can use your help. As usual, Special Selection hasn't a clue what's going on. Remember, though, this is our secret. If Congress ever found out we were using you are kids. If Congress ever found out we were using a couple of kids, they'd close us up tighter than a microwave oven, probably for child labor laws.
It says kids. Child labor laws?
No, but it says that you're kids and that they'd get closed up, I'm assuming, for child labor laws.
Okay. I mean, that was a good flavor bit added on there. I liked it. Okay, so how old are we?
I don't know. You're kids. So I guess that goes by the anime, so you're probably 8.
I was going to say 15.
Okay, so more like Bleach vibes.
I think we're 15.
15.
Yeah.
Are you twins? That would make sense. Anime, psychic twin bond.
Who's older?
Oh, like by minute? I think we established that you were older and Ned was your younger brother. Oh, no, it just says your brother, Ned.
We can be twins. We're always fighting over who's older, I guess.
Okay. All right, turn to page 10. Miss Thornberry stares into space for a second and then speaks. This is the way I see it. There are 2 possible solutions. We've heard rumors hinting at a master plan for world domination that is based on energy control. The group supposedly behind it is called, the OWD, Organization for World Domination. Of
Classic
course,
Team Rocket behavior.
I know. They use that name only among themselves, not publicly. We suspect a front group called the Organization for World Prosperity is actually their public face.
The OWP.
Yeah.
OFWP.
I don't think they're including, prepositions. She opens a dossier on her desk. But frankly, at this point, we have no idea who's behind it, if anyone, or what's causing it. A famous nuclear scientist we've been in contact with thinks a nuclear accident is what is making the oil disappear. If you decide to investigate OWD, Or do you decide to contact the nuclear scientist?
Nah, screw the scientists. We're investigating.
Okay. Let's start with the OWD plot, Ms. Thornberry, Ned says. She nods and opens her desk, pulling out a manila envelope marked top secret in a red stamp. She breaks the red seal, and from it, she removes a map, 3 sheets of paper covered with equations and figures, and a set of photographs. Here, look at this, she says. This is all we've got on OWD. It's a shadowy group, part fanatics committed to some political leader who died years ago, part terrorists who love trouble for its own sake. Worst of all, we think OWD is controlled by a wealthy man named Hugo. This Hugo is reported to be crazy, but shrewd. He'll be a formidable adversary.
That's all the name you've got? Hugo? No full name?
Yeah, I'm afraid it is. We assume, of course, that that's not actually his real name. One of the papers is a world map with locations of all known oil fields. Next to the oil field is a figure for the number of barrels produced per day and the final destination of the oil.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Wait! Look at this!
Ned nods his head several times. Nukes are no good. Should have known it all along, he mutters. What? Whoops, that's why. Turn to page 14. I kind of assumed.
This is a choose your own adventure book, not a cover book.
Well, I thought it would just continue its paragraph on the same page and not move the paragraph to a different page. I think it stopped mid-paragraph. So anyway. Yeah, this art is of Ned probably having seizures, and I don't think he's 8. He looks kind of old, or 15. I don't know. Look at these dates, Ned says. You point to numbers next to each oil center marked on the map. One date is the beginning of the Great Oil Drain 3 weeks ago, the very day that the Saudis first began noticing the problem in their fields. Where'd you get these papers, Ms. Thornberry? Ned asks. I shouldn't divulge our sources, but they came from a man named Boris, a highly placed member of the OWD group. He came to our side several years ago. Ned turns pale. His eyelids begin to flutter strangely. His head turns around, and he speaks. Narimbo, narimbo, itamaguro. That's literally what it says. And I just would like you all to see that he is having a seizure and most likely is not 15. I don't know. He looks like a 50-year-old.
Crazy old professor vibes right there.
Yeah.
And I will say, it might be because this is like a grayscale drawing. So it looks like his hair is white. If he had blonde hair, he might look a lot younger.
Okay. Well, before Miss Thornberry can ask you what on earth that means, you blurt out the translation.
It means that we don't have much time. Boris is asking us to act now. He says get to the oil fields in Egypt right away.
Ned's special information is usually right, but your native caution is making you wonder if you shouldn't try to contact Boris before rushing off to the oil fields. The OWD group plays for keeps. Murder is an everyday event for them, and they hate snoops. If you go straight to the oil fields, that's a thing. And if you decide to contact Boris, that's another thing.
The book literally says my conscience is telling me to contact Boris, so I'm going to listen.
Contact Boris 25. All right. Okay.
Miss Thornberry, we have to talk to Boris. The message Ned is getting will lead him to Boris. You shouldn't throw him off the track.
Miss Thornberry paces around the room. She stops, stares at the CIA grounds below out a window, and ponders for a second. Okay, I'll arrange it. But you need to take Tony Ditweiler with you. He's one of our best agents. Oh, not Ditweiler again. He was with us in the Andes, and the guy's a pain, Ned says. Miss Thornberry stares at you, speaking in a soft voice that always spells trouble. Ditweiler is a professional who does what he has to do. Nothing more, nothing less. He will go with you to Morocco, which is where Boris was last seen. Good luck. You decide to try to lose Ditweiler as soon as possible. Turn to page 39.
Oh man, we have an adult coming with us.
Yeah.
How lame.
Oh, Ned actually now looks like a cool boy. Okay. There we go. We've got a cool picture, don't we?
See, now he looks like 45 to me.
I know. You guys look like adults. I don't know, not
Maybe
kids.
that's Tony Detweiler.
I think that is. I think that's
Yeah.
Ned, and that's
That's
you. And
me.
you guys look like adults. I mean, his shoelaces aren't tied, but I guess that's like very savant energy.
Could be.
I don't know. You guys decide. How old do you think? That's Ned right there, and that is Ditweiler, and that is us way in the back. All right. The next morning, you, Ned, and Agent Ditweiler climb out of a long-range, high-speed courier jet in Casablanca, Morocco. Sunlight glares off the white concrete taxi apron, and you're glad you're wearing dark sunglasses. Ditweiler stretches as he steps off the plane. So, here we are. Now, oh great wonder kid, lead us on to Boris, he says to Ned in his most sarcastic tone. Hold your horses, great super agent, Ned answers placidly. Boris is going to come to us. But before you can make your next move, oh dear, the back door of a service truck swings open. 3 men dressed in burnouses open fire with machine guns. Wow. For you, Ned, and Agent Ditweiler, Boris, and the oil crisis are no longer problems. The agents of OWD calmly stow their weapons, close the door, and drive away as if nothing happened. The end.
We got gunned down.
Yes,
That's
machine gunned down by terrorists.
Okay. A lot of help freaking Tony was.
I know.
Useless. You had one job, Tony. Really fumbled the ball at the beginning of the yard line there.
We don't really know what his one job was.
To make sure things go smoothly. Protect us.
Is that what it was?
That was my understanding. He's the adult. He's the babysitter. He's there to sit the babies, make sure that they don't get gunned down.
Oh, his one job was to get you to Morocco.
Oh.
Nothing more, nothing less.
That's the pilot's job. He wasn't the pilot. Who's this author?
This is R.A. Montgomery.
Who,
from what I know, is like the choose your own adventure author, publisher person.
I am fully willing to admit that the problem might be that I am not the target audience.
Yeah.
But so far, R.A. Montgomery, I'm seeing some, what do you call it?
Problems.
Yeah.
I mean, this definitely was not the Ice Age one. That's for sure.
The Ice Age one was metal. That was intense.
Yeah. I mean, this. Yeah. So in terms of nature, we never really found out what was going on with the oil.
No. We died pretty quick.
It
was like second choice.
Yes. And the renewable energy, that was just me adding that in there.
Yeah.
Thoughts on trouble on planet Earth?
I have so many questions. And a lot.
Yeah.
I am curious enough to try again, different answers.
Okay.
Which I kind of feel like is cheating, but at the same time, like that's what you're supposed to do with these books. Is just see where everything goes. It's more of a completionist thing, I think, than
Yeah.
So Ned is the protagonist, and we are the sarcastic younger brother. I think I've decided.
Okay.
I'm getting like sillier. What was it? Artemis Fowl vibes.
Okay, I can see that.
World traveling kids solving things, doing problems.
Yeah. Okay. So ultimately, what do you think is going on with the oil? If you were to hazard a guess.
I think the OWD is controlling the oil supply for profit reasons from monies. They're gonna like charge arms and legs to the rest of the world for fossil fuels.
Okay.
which is going to backfire because ultimately people are going to get on renewables then, like you said, right?
Right.
And then they'll be like, oh man, now we have all this oil. What are we going to do with it?
Give it to the OWD who clearly wanted it anyway.
No, but they're the ones that have the oil.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Oh, they can't sell it.
Yeah.
Then gotcha.
And they have all this supply and no demand. They'll be lucky to break even then. Although I guess they will have broken even. Well, no. Okay, so then we can talk about economics. They'll be lucky to break even, is what I was going to say, on the oil that they're selling. But technically, they didn't spend any money on the oil because they're stealing it all. But even with going along with that, it's still time and materials, it's still resources. They still have people they have to pay to do the stealing. There's a lot. There's a lot of overhead that goes into this mission. They paid off the hitmen. I'm sure there's a lot of transportation costs associated with what they're doing. There's a lot of espionage. They have to buy a lot of bullets, probably. A lot of black clothing.
There we go. So I guess overall they're supporting the textile industry if they're buying black clothing.
Yeah.
I hope they're doing circular fashion. So, it's like the
upcycled material.
All natural material, no polyester blends, no nylon, the plastic stuff. They're not contributing to microplastics.
Hopefully, these textiles did also come from farmers that are farming. Oh, the puppy has risen. From did you hear Rebecca's outside? Yeah, it's like independent, local, doing that whole thing, supporting local economies, that with laborers that are treated fairly and paid an appropriate wage. So really, are they the bad guys? After all of this is what they're doing?
Murdered two kids and an adult.
True, but there are 8 billion people in the world now.
Yes. Spoilers for those of you who did not know, that was just on the news. We have officially, in real life, reached 8 billion people. Yeah. There's a lot of people on this planet. Okay, so next question then is...
Tails.
Is tails. What would have happened?
Tails.
I don't know what would have happened. I see volcanoes in some of these pictures. I see what looks like a gremlin. That's just a Saudi Arabian child.
Yeah.
Might be. Yeah. I don't know what would have happened. Ned gets kidnapped at some point and has his mind probed.
Let's do another.
Another one? Okay. So what would have happened if you did tails?
Yeah. Actually, I lied. Let's pick heads. But then instead of listening to my conscience, do the other thing.
You go straight to the oil fields.
Yeah.
Turn to page 23. Okay.
This feels like I'm going to get gunned down again, but I gotta know.
You gotta know. All right. And then we'll talk about the importance of renewables. All right, we'll go straight to Egypt. Ms. Thornberry uses the red phone on her desk, which connects her directly to the Oval Office. Yes, Mr. President, that's right. Of course, you have my assurance. No, Congress will never know. She hangs up and turns to you, smiling. Okay, it's all arranged. The president has approved a special flight of the latest Z40 global reconnaissance plane to take you to Cairo. You'll be there before you know it. Turn to page 29.
I feel like 24 was the page that we died on.
25.
All right, we're past it.
Okay. Well, no, we got to page 39.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within 24 hours, you and Ned find yourselves in an Egyptian riding track in a small... Find yourselves in Egypt, riding in a small truck, bumping along a dusty road past a group of pyramids. Here is the picture of y'all doing that. So nice. Do you want that truck?
I would take it. Not my first choice, though.
Okay. Ned gives the driver directions, which come straight from his forbidden knowledge unknown source. This source can be very annoying. It makes Ned act like a know-it-all, and sometimes he's wrong. Very clearly, sometimes he's wrong. We died.
Look at that. Ned.
You point to a small pyramid Sunlight is flashing off a reflective surface near its peak. Ned stares and shrugs his shoulder. It's nothing.
Ned, look, it's flashing some kind of message in code. 3 short flashes, pause, 3 long, 3 short. Come on, Ned.
It's nothing. We have to get to the oil fields. Do you trust yourself and investigate the light, or do you accept Ned's feeling that it's nothing?
Okay, I really want to go check out the SOS.
Right, that is SOS, right? 3 short, then 3 long, then 3 short.
Dot, dash, 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 dash.
Yeah.
That's it. That might be OSO. I don't remember. Yeah, I really want to go check out the SOS, but at the same time, the last time I listened to My Conscience, I got us gunned down. So we're going to go with Ned's this time.
Page 42.
Okay, Ned, I suppose you're right. But I'm sure the light signals are for us.
This is pretty much the same thing that happened, huh?
Oh, great.
Several hours later, you come to a stop at the gates of the Western Petroleum Group's main drilling and pumping office. You know they're a suspect group and could be the front for OWD field headquarters. An Arab man in khaki uniform holding an automatic rifle stands by the gate. Behind him are 6 more armed, uniformed men, and you hear the of guns being loaded.
This is not boding well for us.
No, it's not. State your business. Show your pass. His accent makes English hard to understand. I did not do a thick Egyptian accent, but that's fine. He does not smile. If you pretend you're lost, turn to page 77, or if you try to bluff your way by saying, Boris sent us, and giving him your school cafeteria pass, turn to page 100.
I can't not do that.
Yeah, you're gonna do that?
Of course.
You're gonna give him your school cafeteria.
We're 12.
This is an anime, page 100. Adults are never portrayed well in anime, so there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not dead.
Yes. Here's my pass. See for yourself. It was issued by headquarters. Let us through.
And you hold out your cafeteria pass. The guard reaches for it, holds it up, looks at it, squinches his eyes, and turns the card around. Then you realize he can't read. He's holding it upside down.
Adults are goofy.
Wow. Come with me, he grunts. That's probably more Russian. Oh, well, I don't know. You are marched off to a hulking, scowling man to meet him, and he yells, "What do you want?" Ned gets a strange look in his eyes. The eyes of secret knowledge. Oh, turn to page 33. We gotta go backwards.
That's
how these books go.
This is a good thing.
Oh, we're not dead yet.
You sound so surprised.
Yeah. Boris, we're friends, Ned says. I am sorry. You must be mistaken. There is no Boris here. The man replies, but you can see a glimpse of something. You roll well on your insight check. You're unsure about whether to press him or not, and you decide you better leave. Okay, that's you.
Well, thanks anyway. Sorry to...
Ned is sort of half singing, half humming. Here we go round the thornberry bush, the thornberry bush, the thornberry bush. Here we go round the thornberry bush. The man leaning in the window stiffens. You can see his eyes darken. His voice, which had been cold before, is frigid now. Step out here a minute. Both of you. Turn to page 36. Huh. Interesting.
Now we die.
The man takes you to a spot a little ways from the taxi. Okay, you two. I know who you are. But this is no game for amateurs. Get out of here before you get us all killed. And tell that incompetent director of yours. First of all, Boris, Thornberry isn't incompetent. She recruited you, didn't she? Ned asks. Boris goes, oh! Shh, the desert has eyes and ears. We will be leaving. Boris then pauses and says, I will contact you at your hotel in Vrida. Where are you staying? At a hotel in Vrida. Whatever. You tell him. He shouts at you in a harsh tone, commanding you to leave for the benefit of everyone around. You and Ned drive off. Good to his word, Boris appears at your hotel. Here are the names of all the OWD agents worldwide. Take it to Thornberry. Guard it with your lives. The key here is Hugo. You'll find him in London, and here's his address. That is all I can do for now. My life is in danger. The list is delivered to Miss Thornberry, and the CIA rounds up Hugo and the OWD gang, who are siphoning off oil from active wells to empty wells and storage tanks. They are a desperate gang, but for now, the oil crisis is over.
Did we do it?
I think we did it, but that was like really, really terrible pacing.
We didn't do it. We found the guy, and then he said, "Get out of here."
And then he said, "Get out of here."
Well, I saved the day
and literally solved all of the problems in a paragraph. Terrible, terrible pacing all throughout. Like there should have been a little more going on there. Like truly, it is one paragraph.
Perhaps we are not the target audience. However, something Montgomery.
R.A.
Montgomery. We have notes.
We have notes. We do have notes, sir. I get your pacing right. Anyway, that'll lead to a younger audience who has more critical thinking skills, as well as an understanding of how the world works, and your problems don't get solved like that.
Yeah, I feel like the exchange with the student ID is encouraging critical thinking, because while you were right, and it did seem silly to hand in your cafeteria ID as your quote unquote pass to someone that I think was a terrorist, it worked on account of this guy could not read English.
Yeah.
That's some critical thinking to extrapolate the fact that, like, okay, if this man is speaking in so thick an accent, maybe he's not very well versed in this language. He may not actually know what this is. This will be enough to, it's a picture of me. It's some words that you may or may not understand. It might be enough.
Maybe. I think that was poor portrayal of.
Maybe it's a generous read.
Maybe
it's not. I don't know. I just can't believe that we won on round 2.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, that was wild. Well, we won on round 2. No, that was like round 2.
That was like round, yeah.
Never mind. Okay, so let's talk about some sort of connection to nature. So you mentioned before that supply and demand was going to be all messed up because there's not as much of a demand for fossil fuels, yet that kind of still is the case to this day. Like I still rely on gasoline.
We do, yeah.
Right. I would love to get an electric vehicle, but that's not feasible at this point.
For us at this point, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's okay. So I don't want to be a person that talks about problems and not bring any solutions to the table, but I'm going to do that for a second.
Well, we can critical thinking. We'll talk about it.
Sure. So I feel like there's oftentimes it feels like to be a good environmental steward or an environmentalist, it feels like there's a financial barrier to entry. Yeah. And that if you are not someone that is like upper middle class or greater, then you are not financially able to be a good environmentalist or something. I have a commute to work that I have to do every day.
Right.
I do so in a fossil fueled vehicle. I have to make that commute. I cannot not make that commute. Nor can I live at work and not have to make that commute. Riding a bike to work is not an option for me. So that is one way in which I contribute a lot to the deficit of the planet. And it feels like the solution to that or a possible solution to that would be a hybrid vehicle or an electronic vehicle, which I like EVs. I think they're really cool. I'm about them. I know it's not as simple a conversation as most people make it out to me, but I still like them and I think they're cool. And I would love one. Is that an option for us at this point in time? No.
Right.
There are other things that are more likely options. I think about trucks a lot. So like the new Ford F-150s recently came out. I think they're the coolest thing since sliced bread. But they're a far less achievable option for us than something like a Ford Maverick, which has a hybrid option and is much more, that barrier to entry is far lessened. It's half the price.
I think there's also something to be said for baby steps. Like, you don't need to jump from where you are to an electric vehicle. I think that would be really great if we could. However, think about my car versus your car. My car is an SUV. I work from home. So for the most part, if I am driving somewhere, I need to be transporting all of my program materials, which sometimes I have a lot. I work a lot with school gardens and installing native plant gardens. So I'm carrying a lot of plant material. So I need that SUV for the big stuff, as well as a lot of the places that I go to do not have parking lots, and I usually have to go off road. So SUV is great. But you're not taking my car on your daily commute. You're taking yours, which is way better on gas.
It is.
That's already a step up.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're doing absolutely nothing. You're already doing something more.
That's a good point. And little things do add up.
Yeah.
It's things like having, a vehicle that's not terrible on gas is a far lesser evil than one that gets 4 miles a gallon. And that in combination with, like, we do a lot of other small things well.
Yes.
We try to support local economies. We try, when we're able to, we grow as much of our own food as we can.
We try to shop local, which reduces fossil fuel usage and like truck and airplane transportation of goods. So it's the sort of thing where, like, you don't need to do everything at 100%. You just need to do everything at 1 or 2%.
Just do your best,
right? Like, do
what you can, do your best,
right? And do everything to the best of your ability. And it may be that the best of your ability is not electric vehicles for the entire family, sort of thing, and using public transportation, because sometimes you don't live in an area. Like, he can't ride his bike to work because he's still far enough away from work that is time consuming, hazard. Yeah. And you have a lot of gear for your job, and you wouldn't really be able to carry your gear bag on your bike.
Not feasible.
Yeah. So, doing what you can where you can is really important in terms of fossil fuel. Yes.
And it's also not the only thing.
Yeah, there's lots of other.
But that's what we're talking about, I guess.
Because oil.
Yeah. Classic dad maneuver of turning the lights off when people are not in the room.
Yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also comes down to, with that lights thing, of how are we using our energy at home, not just fossil fuel based. But if we're thinking about, okay, electric vehicles, like, where is our electricity coming from? I know for us, we recently moved, and the energy that we had before we moved was wind power. And now, when we moved, we didn't have a choice. We just got it from the provider. But then after you're on it for a little bit, they give you the option to choose a new provider. I still pay my bills through the same person, but now we are back to wind power again. And that's a really cool option. So maybe look into who your electricity is provided through and see if you can go green with that.
Yeah.
As a little eco-friendly thing. Some of the other concerns with fossil fuels is not just the fact that burning it creates a lot of the carbon emissions, but also how it is obtained. There are some really valuable ecosystems that are disturbed, that pipelines and drill rigs have to make their way through in order to get them. So there's a loss of biodiversity in those areas. And humans have this great, I think, humans have this great ability to do things with the best intentions and have it go kind of wonky for us in the long run.
Yeah.
But we're working on that, I think, as a human race, getting more innovative, trying to pay attention to things.
Yeah. That's a very important place to start, because if you're not aware of problems, there's nothing you can do to solve them.
Yeah. All right. Awareness is important. Absolutely. So thank you so much for listening to that little intriguing adventure into the realm of fossil fuels and oils and terrorist groups. So huzzah for that.
And ESP.
What the special knowledge that he feels, or feeling the knowledge?
Yeah, I forget his catchphrase already.
Yeah.
Feeling knowledge.
Yeah. Either way, I hope that you all are able to feel the knowledge this week as we continue here. Thank you so much for joining us for the second episode of this mini series. Do you have anything to plug?
It's getting colder out. It's a little wintertimey, so I'm just gonna plug warm beverages in general.
Yes.
I want a tea kick this week. Tea is really good.
What tea do you have today?
This is a blueberry pomegranate tea, I believe. It's nice and refreshing. It's nice.
Very nice. And I've got coffee. Pretty standard. All right. Then I will just continue to plug my Patreon. Again, if you support me there, you'll get the video version of this podcast, which is fun because I show you pictures and you can see the doggy. And again, you will be able to support me and help me be able to continue to put out environmental education content, both here on my podcast as well as on my social media platforms and blog articles that I write. So you can go to patreon.com/The Art of Ecology. I'll put that in the link description as well. But otherwise, thank you so much for digging deeper into the natural worlds with The Art of Ecology and learning a little bit more about fossil fuels today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And with that, we will see you next week on For What It's Earth.